This news is really dominating the markets, as we can see right now. And give us a sense from your point of view, when you look at this, do you regard this as a blip that will settle back down again, or something that could have longer ramifications for investors?
Most often this would be a blip. For example, a few weeks ago, we had an attack on Saudi oil facilities, and the reaction was very, very similar. So the reaction today is almost exactly what I would have predicted if someone had given me advance information of the incident. But I think what this does is underscore the first thing that we tell all investors ad nauseum, and that is, yes, stay invested, don't try to time these things, and second, to be diversified geographically and across asset classes, as you can see today.
Yeah, and asset classes, even with equities, we see, for example, airlines really taking a big hit. Obviously, the oil companies will not do particularly well in this world. Bonds, on the other hand, we had a great year last year. People were predicting this year would be tougher for bonds. Right at the moment, it looks pretty good.
Yes, and oil's gone up a lot.
Oil's gone up a lot, yeah. As has gold.
As has gold. And being diversified is, makes sense because there are many different scenarios of the world that, you cannot predict. What happened today is not predictable, and you can't react to it, right? You have to be prepared for it. At this point, I think what should have happened has happened, and barring hostilities of the kind that the Brigadier General suggested we would not see. That is not. We don't expect a conventional war. Markets should come back and regain their footing.
It strikes me there may be a difference, though, between this attack and the one on the refinery in Saudi Arabia, in that was a question of would we retaliate for that? We didn't do it. And so it sort of died away for the time being. Similarly, on some tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, that happened and we didn't really retaliate.
Yes.
This one, we've taken an action in response to an action they took with respect to U.S. interests. And we have the Ayatollah Khamenei saying, we are going to go back after you. And this was a very senior general who had a very close relationship with the Supreme Leader himself.
That's right.
We can be pretty sure there's going to be some reaction, I think.
Yes. As the General said, I'm not an expert on this.
No, but it's, not the end of the thing. And then the question is, what could be the follow-on? How could it ripple?
This is a very volatile part of the world.
Yes, I think that's fair.
And if you look at what oil prices have done last year, the return on being long front contracts in oil has been really handsome. It's been over 30%, including roll-up, right? But the market is saying that on a forward-looking basis, it is oversupplied with oil. And the reason oil prices went up has a fair bit to do with OPEC plus, that is OPEC plus Russia, cutting back on supply in response to the surge in U.S. production. Over 12.5 million barrels per day, is what's being produced here in the U.S. So from an oil disruption point of view, barring serious hostilities, sustained hostilities, the oil prices should go back to where they were.